Right, we're here at Watkins Glen. I have a setup I have for it from the team, and I'm just practicing because it's a team of three we're racing with, and I'm like I want to say maybe 2,000, maybe 1.5 thousand I rating lower than them. So yeah, their lap times are going to be a lot better than where I'm naturally at, but that's okay because I can practice, kind of lock in and see what I can do. So I want to eventually be lapping around a 145. That's where I want to be. But I'm at 147s right now, and then I have a 146 right now. I'm using as my ghost lap, just so I'm not like jumping ahead too far with my thing. And hopefully by tomorrow at 2, which is when the race time is, I'll be around a 1.46. I don't imagine to be exactly where I want to be, but hopefully at least close. So we're in the Corvette GT3, of course. Quite a nice GT3 car. I find it to be a little less understeery than the and oversteery than the BMW because it's more low to the ground. It's kind of similar to the Ferrari, but American and maybe a tiny bit slower, but more aerodynamic for the corners, which makes it good for Glen because there's a lot of, I mean, there's straights too, but there's a lot of corners, especially in the latter half of the track. Of course, the tires are still very much cold, so I'm not going to really put too much effort into my first, I want to say 2 laps. Around the third lap is where it's kind of okay. Around the fifth is where it's like, okay, the tires are dialed in and we're good to go again. Yeah. The track limits on that turn specifically is very, very lax, which is nice because you can use all of that runoff in your actual lap. Like I said, this is just warm up. But the next one, less so. So it's just a slight lift and then you go again. And then you can stay as long as one tire's on the curb like that, you're in track limits. And then for T1 over here, again, just a warm-up lap. My next lap's going to be a real one. For T1 over here, it's a little bit more strict. You want to sit here, you want to put your right tires on the inside, and then transition to the outside of this curb, keep your right tires on it. That's kind of the optimal line, but I find myself usually not taking that because I'm not really putting down optimal laps. So yeah, like I'm not setting myself up my corner entry correctly to make that way. I'm going to brake at the orange thing on the side, aim for this inside curb, lift, press down, take the outside, and then be very, very sensitive with the throttle here just so you're able to go through that turn without braking, which I didn't do that time. Blame it on the tires, but really it's my fault. Brake just before that manhole cover. Sometimes second, sometimes third, notice how I approach it. Use that outside curb right here, which I didn't do. Now this is uphill, you're going to be braking around the 100. You want to take it wide, because if you take it too sharp, then you lose a lot of time, because you're not using the track to kind of get your exit into this corner. I'm going to brake just past the 200 there, a little later on an actual lap. Again, use that runoff. Then, brake right about here, it's not really a good brake marker. Second, sometimes first if you're battling. Use this outside curb here. Now we're going to go into our actual lap. That wasn't a very good setup, so my straight line speed over here is going to be not great.
That was a 148.63.
That also wasn't good. I shifted too far down.
last lap was a 148.47. Okay, Miles, we need to watch these track limits.
That didn't feel like a very good lap at all. 148, yeah. Also shifted too low there. Lost it on that curb right there. Tire off or
If you're
something.
into the meatball
Yeah.
flag, we'll need to come in for repairs.
That's frustrating. Like the car just got unsettled from the grass and then it took the entire thing on that curb, which is very high. Just killed it. Yeah. Fine there. Actually not fine because I end up on the grass. On the grass. Jump. Unsettled. Over. There goes my bumper. No tires issue, but the engine was being weird though. Oh well. I'll go load up the other lap time. Even though I haven't beat this one yet, we'll just see. Both the 145.
track temps increasing. It's now 93 Fahrenheit. That lap time was 1:48.73. You're now 0.26 off your best. Last lap time was 1:47.02. That's your best lap in the session. lap time was 1:48.10. You're currently 1.1 seconds off your best.
That was a good sector too. Pretty much ruined my lap by going off there.
That lap was at 1:47.02. That's your quickest lap. That was at 1:47.77. You're now 0.8 off your best. Now delete this lap, track limits. 8 miles. You need to watch the track limits.
That was not the optimal line. I'll pay for damage. I think I have sector 5 and sector, I think, 3 pretty much down to the point where my sector 5 is even better than the Ghost, but that T1 just gets me every time. I just don't know where my braking point is for there. And then if you get it wrong, if you go too deep, because let's say slanted, if you go too far down on the slanted, your tires catch and then you lose traction. I'm struggling with that, honestly.
Box in 460 meters. Box in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Box now.
2 minutes of
Left
damage
front,
without slow.
89%. Rear left 96.
So let's see what happened there. What was it? It's too far back. There it is. To chase. Took it too wide, committed. So really what happened was that I had a very nice exit through the bus stop here. And then, but I applied brakes too early because I need a, like, brakes. I applied throttle too early because I should be kind of coasting on the throttle. It should be like up here, not up here, until right about here at the parabolic of the curve. At the parabolic, right here. Once you're intervening right here, and the tires start touching the side right here, that's when I want to start applying the throttle, but instead I did the opposite. I went throttle first for the exit, then went down. Super low. See how far my wheel's literally like 90 degrees. And then at this point it should be like here. Instead I'm here. Now at this point what I should have done is lifted, even just lifting, not even braking. I could have went away there and it would have been a very bad exit up here, but that's okay because you're saving the car. Instead, I lift super late. Ride. Lose control. Over.
Limiter's still on. Disengage it. We've got cold tyres, so we need to get some heat into them.